Number 1. I'm a female in my early 20s. I live in a medium-sized 2-story house with my dad and his wife, and he's been away for some business for about 2 weeks now. I don't get along very well with his wife, so my older sister and her kids came over to keep me company till my dad comes home. At around 6 p.m., I decided to go out and buy some groceries. I went upstairs to the room where I left my phone and keys, and it was locked. It didn't surprise me much at first because I usually lock it and only open it when we have guests staying over, so I figured my sister must have locked it behind her out of habit. I went downstairs and asked her if she did. My sister did not lock the room. Her daughter did not lock the room either. My stepmom doesn't have a key. I was the only person with a key, and that key was with the rest of my keys, inside that room. I went back upstairs, tried to open it again. I was now completely sure that the door was indeed locked from the inside. I called my sister and she joined me upstairs. Tried to open the door, but nothing came out of it. We started making jokes, loudly shouting, "We know you're in there. You're in trouble, buddy," because the idea sounded so absurd to us at the time. The room in question has a window that connects to our balcony. Thinking that it must have been slammed shut and locked or some shit like that, I decided to go to the balcony, try to open the window from the outside, let my niece in through the window, and we figured she would unlock the door for us. It was either that or we had to break it down, because there's no other way in. I went outside and dropped some stuff off as I opened the balcony door, which was right next to the locked one. My sister bent down to pick it up, and I went out to the balcony and tried to open the window. Now, our window has those wooden stuff on the inside, and once you get past that, there's a glass window. It took me some time to get past the wooden window, and once I got past the glass part and started pushing, I stopped because it just felt like I was going to break it. Then my sister started screaming, "There's someone inside! There's someone inside!" I didn't think much of it at first, but when I went back to the hallway, I could see it in her face that she was not fucking around. Apparently after I went out to the balcony, she bent down to pick up the stuff I knocked down when someone started jiggling the lock and the doorknob around for a second, then stopped. She told me to get someone right now. I ran out bare feet, shaking, and the second I walked out I just started saying, "There's someone inside our home," to any familiar face that I came across. My closest neighbor was the first to respond. He immediately ran inside, dropping one of his slippers in the process, and ran up the stairs where he found my sister, shaking at the end of the hall and pointing at the room. He broke into the room with his foot and went in as 3 more of our neighbors followed him. There was no one inside. They looked all over the place and they didn't find a soul. Our neighbors left. I had a panic attack in the middle of all of it. This is the first time this ever happened to me. We looked in every possible place and there was no one. The door never locked this way before. We never had any kind of issue with it before. We tried slamming it shut in every way possible, and it wouldn't lock. We have a terrace on this floor, so our theory at the moment was that someone snuck up inside from the terrace and went inside that room to steal some shit. But once we came upstairs, he locked himself in. But then what? He vanished? Also note that after our neighbor broke through the door, there was no sign of forced entry on the door. It was like it was open just before he pushed his foot through it. The second theory involves the supernatural. Since this house has belonged to my family since the 1950s, and it was always full of people and everything, it was only until recently that it just became empty. That room in particular. My dad's wife is convinced that some entity is living there now. I have no idea what to do or what to believe. To be honest, I'm scared shitless. It is 2 a.m., but I'm too scared to sleep, because even though we checked everything and locked every window and door, I'm still freaking out, thinking maybe there is someone hiding somewhere, waiting for me to fall asleep to murder us all. My sister and her daughter are sleeping with me. I'm hearing noises from that room, but I'm so not going to check it out. It's nothing new, though. I've been hearing that kind of noise for quite some time now. Please help any way you can. Number 2. My stalker story starts out like many others. I'm a normal girl just trying to live a normal life. There's nothing special about me, but I seem to attract the attention of all the wrong people. Maybe this was all my fault. I'll let you guys be the judge of that. I work the midnight shift at a popular gas station in a low-income, high-crime neighborhood. We are open 24 hours, and I get a lot of crazy customers. Most of them are drunk or on some kind of drug, but my creepiest customer of all was Ted. Ted was your average everyday semi-truck driver. On Sundays, he would come in at 1 in the morning, and the rest of the week he would come in at 3 a.m. Everyone at my job knew him by name and would always welcome him with a smile, so he seemed like a safe kind of guy. He was very friendly, always looking for someone to talk to and laugh with. We would talk about life. I told him about my husband and the crazy way we met. He told me about his divorce and how he got an amazing motorcycle out of it. After a while of talking, our conversation became comfortable. He was my best regular after all. I told him about my upcoming vacation and how I had just turned 21 and planned on going bar hopping with my best friend. He told me that I was dangerous and that he had to watch out for me. Being my sarcastic self and knowing that I am the least dangerous person I know, I responded with, "Oh yeah, I'm so dangerous." After a while, Ted suggested that we hang out. Now remember that he is a 56-year-old single and ready man, and I'm a 21-year-old timid and very married girl. We should not be hanging out. I would always tell him that my husband wouldn't like that, but he kept insisting. The thing about me is that I am terrible at turning people down, so I just told him that I didn't know my work schedule yet, or that I would be busy on the day he wanted to hang out. He gave me his number and threw it directly into the trash when he left. About a week went by, and he let me know what week in May he would be on vacation, and he begged me to let him take me to the beach. I continued to tell him I didn't know what my schedule would be for that week. Well, eventually the week in May rolled around, and Ted began his vacation. He saw me at work taking out the trash, and he cornered me to tell me. Now this part requires some explanation, so stay with me. The way we take out the trash at work is we load all the bags into a Walmart-sized shopping cart and wheel it out to the dumpster. The dumpster is located on the side of the building, where there are conveniently no cameras, surrounded by 3 walls of brick and 2 large metal doors to keep the homeless people out. Opening one metal door allows enough space for the shopping cart and my body to fit in, so that's usually what I do. Easy in and easy out. I was inside the dumpster area loading all the trash bags in, and I see a vehicle pull up next to me. It's 3 in the morning at this point, so it's dark and the headlights were blinding. There is an exit right by the dumpster, so a car passing me isn't unusual, but the vehicle stopped, taking away any room I had to get out and blocking me in. Then someone stepped out of the vehicle and approached me. He was just a shadow figure with the lights behind him. But once he spoke, I knew it was Ted. He told me that he was finally on vacation, and we could have our beach date at last. I didn't speak as I was frightened, knowing that I was cornered, and I had nowhere to run if I needed to. He then said something that sent chills through my spine. "When we are done at the beach, I will take you back to my hotel room." I froze, having never given him any reason to think that was okay. He noticed the obvious terror on my face and tried to backtrack. "You know, where we will watch movies and eat popcorn. I'm an adult. I've been to a few hotel rooms myself, and I know what 2 grown adults do in them." I didn't know what to say, so I just stayed silent. Eventually he got the hint and left. The next day, Ted came in to see me at work, and this time he wasn't playing around. He walked straight to a display of peanuts we had at the front of the store and grabbed a bag. "Gotta have your daily bag of nuts," he said, looking directly at me as he put them on the counter. "I have a bag of nuts for you." He winked at me. My typical welcoming smile had faded, and I was done acting nice around him. I told him I hate nuts, and he looked at me like I wasn't getting the joke. "Oh, I got it, and I meant what I said. I hate nuts." He walked away and grabbed the rest of his items and came up to pay. As he was about to leave, he turned around. "I forgot something. Let me go get it, so I'll be ready for you." He walked right down the aisle I was afraid he was going to, came back with a box of condoms. I could feel his stare as I rang them up, but I couldn't look at him. I would have puked if I had. In the days following, I hid from him. Having already memorized his daily schedule, I would always go to the stock cooler whenever he was about to come in. He figured this out and would open the doors to talk to me. One day I went to the bathroom and he had the nerve to bang on the door and ask why I was hiding. He even asked my coworkers where I was on the nights I wasn't at work. It got to the point where I would break into a full sprint whenever I saw his truck pull up, and I know he saw me. I wanted him to see that I wanted nothing to do with him. For a while it seemed to finally make sense to him. He almost stopped coming in, and when he did, we didn't speak. But the creepiest of all wasn't while I was at work. I was laying in my bed about to go to sleep, and I saw my phone light up next to me. The light of the screen was blinding me at first. I black out my room to help me sleep during the day, but once my eyes adjusted, I saw his face. Ted was staring at me through the Facebook notification, which let me know I had one friend request. I have no idea how he found me. I never wore my name tag at work, and even if I did, it didn't have my last name on it. He had to do some serious searching to find me. I immediately blocked him, but unfortunately, my address and phone number was public on my profile, and more than likely to be seen by him. I know I shouldn't have made my info public. It has since been changed. I put in my 2 weeks right away. I had to come back to work since then, though. A girl's got to make money, and it's hard out there. During my time away, my husband and I came into the store to get some drinks, and I saw Ted's truck pull up. Before anyone asks, yes, my husband knew everything Ted had done. I threw my arms around my husband, and he kissed me. It was passionate, over the top, the Notebook kind of kiss, and Ted saw all of it. He looked at me with all the rage in the world. We quickly left after that, but a few minutes later I got a text from my coworker, who was there at the time. She said that he was loudly mumbling to himself about how he couldn't believe I would kiss all over some guy in public, but I wouldn't sleep with him. Nothing has happened since, but he could come in at any minute, and I always get a little worried at 1 and 3 in the morning. I know this isn't the craziest of stories, and I'm very thankful for that, but I needed to share it somewhere. Thank you guys for listening.